Kids Adventure, Secret Keys of Healing, Adventure Stories for Kids. Written by Jeff Child. Narrated by John H. Feskins. Introduction. There are 3 keys hidden in 3 different parts of the country. They are called the 3 Keys of Heroism. The hero of the story goes on a quest to seek out what he needs to obtain those keys. Moreover, they open doors that will help him lead a better life. Listen to the story of Rupert, a warrior with a strong desire to make more of his life, and a mentor who shows him the way. Along his path, he crosses dangerous lands and faces brutal enemies. Chapter 1. The Mysterious Doors. Rupert is a warrior. He lives by the sword. But since there is no war going on, he finds himself gathering coins here and there to make a living, just by challenging others to a fight. It's all very innocent, really, just going from village to village to seek out contestants and finding people who will bet on them. His first stop is on the big island of Quanaraville, a quiet town where he stops in the local bar and announces the reason for his visit. "I am here to see who is braver than I am," Rupert begins. "Whoever you people think is skilled with the sword can step forward and engage in battle with me in a duel. I will be outside." The men in the bar don't know how to react. This is a sudden change they didn't expect. Nothing ever happens in this village anyway. They come together and discuss the best way to beat this arrogant guy. "Have you ever heard of him?" one of them says. "I don't even know his name. How come he forgot to mention his name?" another answers. "So shall we challenge him? We do have some strong men in this village." "Largus, how about you fight him?" "It will be my pleasure," Largus says. "That scrawny kid looks like he doesn't know what he is doing anyway." The men step outside and watch Rupert put up a little perimeter. The villagers have already come to watch, and men, women, and children are waiting for the first challenger to beat Rupert. "Ah, I see you have decided," Rupert says with a smile on his face. "Who is first? You?" Largus steps forward, and the others cheer. "I'll go easy on him," Largus assures the other men. "I don't want him to be severely wounded, so how much are we betting?" 10 golden coins on Largus," one of the men says. 5 on Largus," another says. 20, another adds. "Very well, I will make this quick," Largus says, as he grabs his sword and holds it in front of him. "Show me what you've got, little man." He comes at Rupert with a sudden attack. Rupert steps aside and avoids his dashing move. Then Rupert waves his sword in different directions, twisting and spinning and completely confusing his opponent. Bam! Suddenly, Rupert hits the sword out of Largus's hands and watches it fall onto the ground. He picks it up and asks Largus politely to surrender. Largus walks out in anger. "Any other courageous men who are willing to fight me?" "Tisk, tisk," he hears from behind the crowd. "That was just pure luck." From behind a few women and men comes a giant dude with strong muscles. He rolls up his sleeves and steps forward, taking off his hoodie and looking at Rupert. Then he speaks up again. "You are just using a few simple tricks," he says. "Nothing more. I already know all your moves, so bring it on. Who is ready to bet?" "I am," a woman says. 50 pieces of gold on, what is your name?" "Henry," he says with a heavy voice. 100 pieces, another says. Other villagers make bets as well, while Rupert looks at the humongous guy with a six-pack, who unbuttons his shirt a little and clenches his fists. He has a scar on his face and a big jaw that makes him look even more masculine. Rupert knows that he has to pull out all his tricks to beat this big guy. There is no other way. "Are you ready?" Henry asks. "If you are," Rupert says. "Then let's begin," Henry responds. He gets a sword from behind his back and attacks Rupert with a powerful move. "Rah!" Henry exclaims. Rupert ducks, rolls through his legs, and ends up on the other side of him. "Nice trick," Henry says, "but I hope you have other moves as well, or else what are you going to do against this?" He slashes down and pulverizes Rupert's sword to pieces. Rupert falls backwards and looks at his sword, which has been broken to bits. "Yield," Henry says, pointing his sword at Rupert's throat. Rupert nods and gets up, surrendering to the enormous giant. Everybody cheers even more loudly than before. They will all receive some extra money because of the bets they placed. Rupert looks at the villagers with a sad face. He has fought countless street battles and defeated numerous opponents. His winning streak was in the hundreds, but now he has lost, the first time in years. Some of the villagers laugh at him. Others pat him on the back and tell him, "Nice try." Rupert looks over his shoulder and watches the people from the village take their earnings and dispense. They each go their different ways again and leave the loser in the middle of the road. But one person isn't leaving. It's like he has something to say to Rupert. It's like he knows things. Chapter 2: The Mystical Keys. "Who are you?" Rupert asks while walking towards the man watching him. "My name is Galvin," the man says. He has a beard and a blue outfit. His golden belt sparkles in the sunlight, and his brown boots look like they are worn, but still sturdy as ever. "Well, Galvin, I am Rupert. I see you have been watching me." "Yes, I have, and I can tell that you have talent," Galvin says. "You have some spirit, kid, I'll give you that. But to become truly invincible, you must develop some skills you don't have, or at least not much." "Oh, and which skills would those be?" Rupert asks. "Come with me," Galvin says. They both leave town and head towards the rocks. The rocky area is situated on the coast, with big splashes of seawater that speed against them. The view is beautiful. Occasional rocks rise above the vast sea, and the sun reflects perfectly upon the water. Rupert still doesn't know what they are doing here, but he is certain that he is about to find out. "Come along, this way," Galvin says, as he signals the young warrior to follow him down. They descend down the rocks and come to an area where the water doesn't reach. There are puddles, and little crabs scurry through the sand. "There," Galvin finally says. "A cave?" Rupert asks. "What's in there?" Galvin beckons him to follow, and within seconds they stand in front of 3 doors. "I never knew about this place," Rupert says. "Who built it?" "The ancients," Galvin says. "The ancient ancestors who were concerned about their posterity. They wanted to make sure that only those who would show to be true heroes would reap the benefits from what is behind these doors." "So what's behind them?" "The finest sword in the world," Galvin answers. "It will give you strength and fighting skills beyond your imagination." "Wow, that sounds like something I could use. Mine just broke." "It would be the only way to defeat that Henry guy." "I think you're right. Let's open them." "Hold your horses, kid," Galvin says. "In order to open these 3 doors, you will need 3 keys, and in order to get those 3 keys, you will need to apply 3 qualities that I think you have." "And what's in it for you?" Rupert asks. "Me? Oh, I just believe in you. I have been to different villages and observed you when I stood in the back. Haven't you ever seen me before?" "No, not really." "Anyway, it doesn't matter. A warrior as skilled as you will come in handy when we defend ourselves against the Galvin stops talking. He realizes that he already said too much. "Never mind, kid. You will be rewarded greatly." "Why didn't you just recruit that Henry guy, especially since he is better than I am?" "He is not better. He defeated you once. That doesn't prove anything. Trust me, I know when I see someone that looks promising. But enough talk. Are you ready to fetch those keys?" "I sure am. And when I get back, I will challenge that big guy again." "Sounds like a plan," Galvin says. Here, I already drew the locations of the keys on the map. All you have to do is get them. Excellent. I will leave right away. With that being said, the duo departs and splits up. Galvin goes back to the village and ascertains Rupert that he will wait for him there. The young warrior ventures to the plains, ready to look for the first key. Chapter 3, Key 1. The first key is the closest one. Rupert walks and walks, and comes to an area with green hills and the occasional tree. But even though it looked close on the map, it still appears to be a long journey. For hours and hours he walks to the next tree to rest and cool off in the shade, only to repeat the same actions again and again. At the end of the day, he sees a small bunker, something that stands out from the simultaneous landscape. He approaches the bunker and reads the inscription on the front door. He who seeks the key of intelligence must first show forth his knowledge and wisdom by solving the puzzle. The puzzle is up and down, left and right. The text is correct. The door doesn't open, so he looks at the numbers next to it. Wow, this looks like a lot of work. It looks like some kind of pattern he is familiar with, but he doesn't remember where he has seen it. Let's see, Rupert says. If there are numbers from 1 to 9, then every number must appear in each row and column and in each big square. The empty spaces allow me to carve a number in there. If I just enter the numbers one by one, then I am sure the other ones will be easier in time. He stands there for a while and tries to figure it out. Slowly but certainly, each number appears in place, as he eliminates possibilities each time. There, he says, I almost have it. It takes another 10 minutes under the scourging sun to solve it, but then he manages to do it. He is sweating and he lacks water. He figures he should have brought more on his journey, but it's too late now. Anyway, he is happy to be done with it. Ha ha ha, Rupert says laughingly. Gotcha, stupid puzzle. He has entered all the numbers and expects the door to open by itself. Nothing happens. Hey, that's strange, Rupert says. Why isn't it opening? He tries the door handle and pulls it down a little. It won't budge. Open up, Rupert yells. Ugh, why does this always happen to me? What did I do wrong? He goes over all the numbers again and checks them one by one. The 4 goes over there, the 8 over there. What? There is nothing wrong with this puzzle. I did it right. Then he reads the inscription again. The puzzle is up and down, left and right, he reads out loud. He looks at the door again. Maybe there is something to the door handle. He moves the door handle up, it clicks. He moves the door handle down, it clicks again. Then he moves it left and right. Then he moves it left and then right. Twice in a row, it clicks, and the door opens up. Oh no, Rupert exclaims, realizing how dumb he has been. I didn't even have to solve that puzzle. It was there to distract me. The only thing I had to do was move the door handle in a certain pattern. Well, that was a waste of time. He keeps complaining a little bit, but then he sees what's inside the bunker. There it is. In the corner of the tiny bunker lies a golden key. Rupert takes the key and puts it into his bag. On to the next key. On to the next key, he says, relieved that he finally got it. Chapter 4, Key 2. Rupert looks on the map and points to the right, as if to tell himself where to go next. That direction. That's where it should be, he says out loud. He walks through the empty hills and ends up on a rock, looking down on a valley with 2 humongous statues and an entrance. The area around it is covered by rocks, and it's inaccessible. It seems like the only way is through that path. But the statues look perilous. They look magical, and anything but friendly. Each statue has the shape of a lion, with the head of a goat and a spiky tail. Like mythical creatures, they look like guardians protecting the entrance to the gorge. Rupert also finds a tiny creek, where he drinks and fills his stomach with fluids, but it doesn't help him to move forward. The entrance is guarded, and he doesn't trust it one bit. He is on the lookout on top of the rock and observes everything happening down there. Aha! A deer is going to walk through the gorge. It has to move past the statues. Let's see what happens. It's getting closer and closer, when suddenly, zap! The deer is being shot by some laser from the statue's eyes. The beam instantly kills the poor animal and incinerates the dead carcass for several minutes after the lethal hit. "What the?" Rupert says. "I am glad I didn't go through there yet. How am I ever going to get past those statues?" But then he sees something else that looks significant. A little dragon moves into the same direction, one that could be considered similar to a giant lizard, typical for that climate and habitat. It doesn't get shot by the lasers. It moves forward freely and pretends that there is nothing wrong. No reaction, no laser beam. "Huh," Rupert says. "I wonder what this means." Is it because the little dragon is smaller than the deer, or because it's a different kind of animal? Rupert's creative brain starts working. He is trying to figure out a way to emulate the shape of that small creature, so that perhaps he would be able to move past these guarding statues himself. He walks around, searching for another of those little dragons. They're not hard to find. They're all over the place. Not much later, Rupert finds another one of them. He sneaks up on the little dragon and hides behind a rock. It didn't see him. Good. Suddenly, wah! Rupert pounces on the dragon and stabs it through the heart. The little dragon dies and falls onto the ground. "Nice," Rupert says. "This is exactly what I needed." He bends over and starts cutting off the skin from the dragon. After about a half hour of cutting and cleaning the skin in the creek, he puts the skin over his body and crosses his fingers. "Let's hope this will work," he mumbles. In his new dragon skin, he moves towards the entrance of the gorge. He drops on his knees and crawls forward. For a moment, he closes his eyes and takes a deep breath, hoping that he won't get zapped by the two lasers. But nothing happens. He keeps moving forward and concludes that the statues see him as a little dragon, now that they have fallen for his disguise. Rupert feels relieved. After passing the statues and looking back, he stands up again and walks towards an altar he sees in front of him. The altar is decorated with symbolic patterns and has a text underneath it that reads, "The Key of Creativity." "That makes a lot of sense," Rupert says. "I had to use my creativity to move past the statues. With the dragon's skin, I was able to trick them into thinking it was just one of those dragons. Now let's take this key and go to the last one." And so he does. Chapter 5, Key 3. Rupert realizes that all these keys are hidden in areas with some kind of test to them. Perhaps that's what Galvin meant when he talked about the ancestors. They only wanted a true hero to have the magical sword behind those 3 doors, and in order to be a true hero, you would have to pass the tests. The last key is the farthest away. Rupert looks on the map and sighs. "Man, that's really far. It's on the other side of the island." He has never been there, and he isn't eager to find out what dangers lie in wait there to take his life. But he takes courage and moves on. After a while, it starts to snow. First a little, then more, and eventually Rupert finds himself in a blinding blizzard. He gets annoyed by the snowflakes landing on the surface of his eyes. It hurts, especially with these winds. He cannot stand it any longer and covers his eyes, opening them only every few seconds as if he is blinking constantly. The wind, the snow, it's becoming too much. The thick fog that comes with it completely blurs his vision. "Glad I don't live here," he complains. "Such bad weather. Yuck." Complaining about it, however, isn't helping him at all. He has to go on. According to the map, the key should be straight ahead. "Maybe I'll just wait for this storm to pass," Rupert decides. He covers his head and his body with a jacket from his bag and sits there. The storm is still there. After another hour, it still hasn't calmed down yet. Rupert looks up and sees the blizzard coming at him with as much force as before, and it's taking all day. That night, the blizzard still hasn't subsided. It's not getting stronger, but it remains a consistent power of nature that isn't going to give in to this young adventurer's demands. It's becoming too much. "This isn't going anywhere," Rupert shouts out in frustration. He has warmed up a little bit underneath his coat, but he can't go anywhere without facing nature's might. He decides to just walk on anyway. "I have to get to this last key," he says. "I want this sword. It's the only way to defeat that guy at the village and show myself and others what I can do. Besides, I need a new sword anyway." He gets up and runs into the direction of what he thinks will lead to the key. "Ah! Take that, you filthy blizzard!" he yells while storming forward. He sprints and starts panting, breathing faster and faster, which is draining his energy. He didn't realize before that he was so out of shape, but it just makes him more determined. He wants that key, and he wants it now. After some time running through the thick snow that slows him down, he bends over and leans on his knees, catching his breath. He looks up and sees a sign which shows an arrow and the words, "Key of Willpower." The key of willpower? That sounds pretty applicable, seeing that he had to force himself to become more determined and persevere through this storm. The arrow is pointing to the left side, so he decides to go there. After another mile of walking into the same direction, he finds a big pile of snow, higher than the snow that is already reaching his knees. Rupert walks over to the pile and brushes off the snow with his arm. Underneath the snow he just removed is a glass box with the key inside it. "I knew it!" Rupert exclaims, happy that he finally found it. "Now let's get these mysterious keys to those doors." He looks around him and opens the glass box by removing the lid. As soon as he touches the key, the blizzard disappears. "Whoa," he says. "Freaky. But I don't mind it this way." It's as if the storm was just testing him, and decided to vanish as soon as he showed his worth. Chapter 6. What the? Once Rupert regains some of his strength and arrives at the village, the old mentor is standing there, waiting for him. "Take a rest," he says. "Come in and eat something." They both go inside a tavern and order a meal. "And," Galvin asks, "were you able to obtain the 3 keys?" "Yes, I was," Rupert answers. "What were the tests?" "You mean to tell me that you didn't know what I was going to be tested for? I thought you knew everything about these keys." "I just knew they were hidden away in places that would test your character. That's all. So did they test your character?" "They sure did. One of them tested my intelligence, another my creativity. That was a scary one. And the last key tested my willpower. And that last one, I have to tell you, was very exhausting." "But you made it, right? So now you are ready to obtain the sword," Galvin says. "Yes," Rupert answers. "In fact, I am so curious that I want to go immediately after this dinner." "Sounds like a good idea. So why are you still talking? Keep eating already so we can go." Rupert finishes his meal within minutes. He is just as excited to discover the sword's magical powers as the old man. When they are done, they hurry to the place near the sea where the 3 doors are. Rupert takes the 3 keys out of his bag. "Magnificent," Galvin admits. They put the keys into the doors and open all 3 one by one. The first door shows the very end of a sword, the one thing you can click onto the handle. The second door shows the handle itself. Rupert picks the 2 items up and attaches them to each other. The third one reveals the blade. "Careful now," Galvin says. "I am sure this thing is sharper than anything you've ever come across." Rupert picks up the blade and attaches it to the handle. Immediately, he feels a powerful rush go through his body. Images of fighting moves flash through his head. It feels as if he can sense every move coming his way, with a myriad of possibilities to deflect them, evade them, or turn them against his opponent. "Attack me," Rupert says. "No way," the old man says. "I know you have that sword now. You probably know exactly what to do when I—" Suddenly he swings at Rupert with his stick. Rupert jumps back and blocks his move. Another hit follows, but Rupert rolls underneath him and makes Galvin trip. Galvin smiles at Rupert. He is proud of him. "Well done, boy," he says. "You are ready to defeat Henry. Let's go see if he is willing to do a rematch." They both head back to the village and see, to their surprise, that it is completely empty. Where did everyone go? "Psst," they hear from a corner. "What are you guys doing here?" It was a thin guy with blonde hair and a scared face. "Where did everyone go? Just an hour ago, everybody was still here," Rupert said. "They are hiding, and if I were you, I would do the same thing." "Why are they hiding? What is going on?" Rupert asked. "Didn't you hear? The zombies are about to attack the village. They have been spotted in the forest. We know they are coming, so just save yourselves and hide somewhere already." "Just as I suspected," Galvin says. "You knew about this?" Rupert asks. "Well, I knew they attack villages every once in a while, and I also knew they were hiding in the forests. I just didn't know when. Listen, Rupert, I needed a firm warrior, a strong, courageous fighter who could help protect the villages. You live by the sword. You fight small tournaments to win money. Work for me, and I will reward you well. This is the life I offer you. Fight the zombie hordes everywhere, whenever they occur." "I already presumed you had a second agenda. You almost told me about it. Why didn't you mention it when we first met?" "Oh, come on. If I would have told you that I was training you to fight zombies, you might not have been so eager to get the sword, don't you think?" "I guess you're right. Either way, I accept the job. Let those filthy zombies come. I am ready." "Let's go to the town square to give them a warm welcome," Galvin suggests. Then it's time. They stand there, ready to face the horde of zombies. It's quiet, awfully quiet. But they know it's just the calm serenity before the storm. And they are right. After about 10 minutes of waiting, they see the first zombies appear on the horizon. The zombies quickly move through the village streets and head towards the town square. "Get ready," Galvin says. "These zombies are going down." The number of zombies grows exponentially. There are already about 50 of them in the town square, but they don't scare Galvin or Rupert. Rupert has a perfect knowledge of every fighting move, which he gained by attaching the parts of the sword. He is the hero, the chosen one, the man destined to wield the sword. A zombie throws a punch at him. Missed. Rupert evades his attack and stabs the zombie, which falls to the ground. Another one makes an attempt to kill Rupert, but it fails miserably and accidentally hits another zombie. It goes on like this for a while. Galvin is fighting off the horde as well, hitting some zombies with his stick and kicking others away from him. Suddenly, a zombie bangs his fist on Galvin's head, who falls down and tries to keep his offenders at a distance. But it is too late. The zombies are all over him. They are jumping on him and punching and kicking away. "Galvin!" Rupert yells. "Hold on, I will be right there!" But he cannot get through. No matter how perfect his moves are in a one-on-one combat situation, he has to get through the crowds of zombies to reach his mentor. It seems too late. A zombie lifts up a shovel and goes for the kill. "No!" Rupert yells. "Stab!" The zombie which is about to kill Gavin dies and falls down after being stabbed in the ribs. Rupert looks at what just happened. It's Henry. "I thought you might need a hand," he says with a big grin on his face. He pulls his sword out of the dead zombie and continues fighting, helping the duo achieve victory. With his size, Henry is able to smack 3 or 4 zombies in the heads at the same time. He swings at some of them and stomps on others. After some time, the fight is over. Zombie corpses are piled up on the square. The three warriors look at each other contently. "Now what?" Henry asks. But before they can say another word, the villagers rush at them and shout for joy. "Long live our heroes! They saved the city!" Rupert and Henry are carried on their shoulders. Galvin politely declines the offer, saying that he is too old for that stuff. Some of the villagers have a hard time carrying Henry since he is so heavy, but they sacrifice their energy gladly. "So," Henry begins, "nice sword. I saw you fight those zombies, Rupert, but you still haven't proven yourself. You may have gained some extra skills, but zombies are not the same as men with swords like me. Do you have the guts to fight me one more time, or have you had enough?" Rupert chuckles. "Any place, any time, big guy." "How about tomorrow at the town square at 10 in the morning?" "You got it." Chapter 7. Even Better. The next morning, Rupert and Henry are standing on opposite sides of each other. The whole village has come to watch. After what occurred on the same square the day before, many of the men and women are wondering if the match is going to end differently. Galvin leans over and whispers in Rupert's ear, "Go easy on him. I know you lost last time, but this time it will be a piece of cake. The power of the sword you wield is beyond anyone's imagination. Don't underestimate it." Rupert takes his master's advice to heart and stands ready to fight his opponent. But this time it's not like the other day. The millions of possible moves flash through his mind within seconds, and every attempt by Henry to smash him or stab him is deflected, avoided, or countered in one way or another. After a few intense minutes of battling outbursts, Rupert finishes the job and kicks Henry's sword out of his hand. "Yield," Rupert says, pointing his sword at Henry in the same way as Henry had pointed his sword at him earlier. "I have to admit that you've become better, man," Henry says. "I give up. You win. It's impressive how much you've learned in such a short period of time." "It still surprises me too," Rupert says with a smile, after which he puts the blade back into its sheath. "Well, you earned your money," Henry says, "and how about I treat you all on a drink?" "I wouldn't say no to that," Rupert answers. "Come on, boys. Drinks are on my friend over here." The entire village heads to the bar and orders various drinks. A party starts. People are dancing and playing cards. Music is playing and everyone is having a great time. Galvin enters the building later and takes a seat next to Rupert. "Just before you go too nuts this evening," he begins, "let me tell you about a report that barely came in. Zombies are about to attack the villages in the north, so get ready to leave early tomorrow morning." "You got it," Rupert says, as he raises his glass. The end. This has been Kids Adventure, Secret Keys of Healing, Adventure Stories for Kids. Written by Jeff Child. Narrated by John H. Feskins. Copyright 2017 by Jeff Child. Production copyright 2017 by Jeff Child.